So I want to move on to the Ascension.
Yeah.
They're in the next match against Mike Dalton and CJ Parker.
Mm-hmm.
So
they have a fucking package, right?
Right.
The Ascension, right? And the graphics is like these really old animation, dodgy PlayStation 1 graphics of these buildings. And it's just like two lads hanging out in the roof with their tops off, thinking they're the gargoyles or something.
Gargoyles is what I thought too. It reminded me of Disney's Gargoyles, the cartoon.
Yeah.
You remember? And all I could think of when they were coming to the ring was the music from the show. So we might have to put that up as well somewhere.
You know, I have to say, like, their entrance as well, it's one of those things that I think they thought it was going to be, like, really epic. And they even did, like, all these, like, you know, like, when DX made their entrance, they cut the different clips of them.
They mixed the live footage with the entrance video.
I watched this entrance and I was like, I don't know what is live now and what is B-roll or whatever. Connor looks totally different here, I have to say. He almost looks like a wee pretty boy. He looks totally different, and as you can tell, someone backstage is really hot on Connor. Like, they just, the camera's on him all the time. They talk about him all the time. And he does like this, he just laughs and he does like this, you're like gold dust. I'm like, Connor, who the fuck is this dude?
The Ascension is all sound effects, because later on too, when they do their finisher, Kenneth Cameron, the other guy who we'll talk about again, he lets out this big throaty scream before they do the finisher, and it is...
Wow. It's a word. Look us up on the Urban Dictionary. It's a word that we use here in Ireland. It's whopping.
It is a whopping scream.
I don't. You know what, Patrick? I'm just going to say it. I don't like the Ascension at all. Their finisher, the tandem finishing move, as JR coined it. It's like what is it? It's like a face buster where he doesn't actually hit the ground.
Well,
and then a flapjack. And what did they call it?
It was called the Downcast.
Shite.
And that's what it was. It was a jawbreaker into a flapjack. And it is the least impactful finisher that they could have given a big bruiser tag team.
Yeah.
I have this in my notes as well for both matches, and both times the Downcast looks shite.
Yep.
No, but I have to shout you, I like the Ascension.
No, Patrick.
I did. I like the entrance as well.
No,
but you know what I liked about it?
The blue light in his hand.
The horror story.
Well, at least that was never done before, at least not to my knowledge.
What was it? Did he have a torch up his sleeve?
It's an iPhone.
Just an iPhone in his hand. But he did look spooky.
Alright, they looked apart, but I just don't like them, Patrick.
It tread a thin line between cartoon and serious.
Yeah. What did you think WWE thought of this character? Did they think it was going to be like the new version of the Brood? Or the Ministry of Darkness?
At this time, I don't think they had any major plans for it. I think it was a cool thing they had going on in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
When they moved to the main roster, when it was Connor and Victor,
yeah,
they obviously were going for like a Legion of Doom, like the old school 80s when they would do those corny promos where it was just them in a room, split screen, and they would do laugh into the camera and all that. So I think they wanted like an old school, even like Demolition, kind of thing. But here, I don't know what they were trying to go for here. I thought it was half cool and half absolutely shite.
And can I ask, what happened to the original tag team partner?
Well, so he was gone from NXT by the end of the year.
Okay.
He was charged with battery of a law enforcement officer.
Oh, actually, hold on, I like them.
Let that.
I like this session.
Let it sink in. A battery of a law enforcement officer and disorderly intoxication, which I'm sure had something to do with it.
Yeah.
But that was enough to get him released from NXT, unsurprisingly.
Mm-hmm.
He's lucky he wasn't the big boss man.
I know.
Because he'd be fucked. Since then, he's also had some issues with domestic battery against the girlfriend.
I don't like them.
Not Charlotte Flair, who he was married to before. He was married to Charlotte Flair.
You've done your research, Patrick.
So Kenneth Cameron went on to beat Bram in TNA. Do you remember Bram?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
It's kind of like a running joke that he always gets a contract renewal amongst those fans. But he kind of did okay in TNA after he left. I remember he had a famous feud with Abbas over... They had a Stairway to Janice match.
Okay.
What do you think that is?
Stairway to Janice? Is Janice a woman?
Janice from Friends, hanging from the roof. No, Janice was a business barbed wire baseball bat, or nailed baseball bat, one of the two.
Oh, it's a bit like Moppy.
He was in love with this weapon. It was hanging from the ladder.
What other weapons does have a name in wrestling?
Moppy.
Dean Ambrose had a plant or something?
He did, he had a plant. It had a name, and it got smashed.
It's called like Kevin.
And I'm spacing on the name for it.
Jericho smashed him, whatever his name was.
Someone had a barbed wire back called Barbie as well.
Barbie, was that Mick Foley?
Could have been. Janice the Bat. So Bram had a pretty good run in TNA.
Mm-hmm.
All things considered. He won their King of the Mountain title, whatever that meant. And you sort of have to wonder what would have happened for him if he was able to keep his personal life in check.
Yeah.
He seemed to be the best member of the Ascension at this time, I think.
Yeah.
He seemed to have it a bit more at this time than Connor did. Connor, I think, has to be commended for surviving one of the worst gimmicks of all time in NXT, where basically we're obsessed with the fact that he looked like a rat. And they would bring him cheese backstage, or he would be looking for cheese backstage, which you have to wonder how it even came to be. He had to go off on his own then when Bram left, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They eventually replaced him with
Victor?
Victor, Victor as he is known now, with a K, not a C.
Did you know he graduated from the Stuart Hart bunch?
I do now, because JR and William Regal told me. He went on a bit of a singles run, Connor, and then eventually found his new partner in the Ascension, and they were for a while the tag team in NXT, if you remember, and they did a really good job, and they were brought to the main roster, and it just didn't translate, did it?
Yeah, it just kind of flopped. I mean, what has been their defining moment?
In my eyes, to this time now, they came up as like they were supposed to be like a dominating 80s style tag team.
Yeah.
But all I remember them as now is Breezango's best friends.
Yeah, so can I say, like, the only existing sort of memories I have them is them kind of vignettes with Breezango. They're pretty good on some of those other network shows, like the prank. What's the prank one? WWE has their own name for
not it. Not punked, swerved.
Those kind of shows, I kind of like them. Behind the scenes, they seem pretty cool.
I think that they're not bad in the ring either. It's just one of those things that the gimmick hasn't translated.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're done already, or do you think that there's room to come back up again?
Oh, there's always room to come back up again.
Never say never.
Never say never. Never say never.